All right, good afternoon, everyone. This is Nitha Ramachandra from the NR Hour Sports Show. This is episode 1057. We are live on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, on all the podcast platforms. Fans, everybody knows about the Spreaker app, so please tune in there. You can ask questions on that app. But today we are joined by a really special guest. Everybody knows her in the NFL business. Her name is Melissa Jacobs. She's a talented NFL reporter. She is the managing editor of The Football Girl. Go check that out. She does a great job with that. And she's an author. She does an amazing thing, multiple things at once. She's everywhere covering the NFL, and she represents women in sports in a big way. And really looking forward to this interview. And fans, like I said, please tune in, ask questions. And Melissa, thank you for joining. It's truly an honor, and I love what you do. And obviously, you're one of the best, in my opinion, when it comes to reporting NFL stuff.
Well, thank you for having me. Are you available to be my publicist?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I don't know if anyone speaks as highly of me as you, but I appreciate it.
Anytime. So let's get right into this and let our fans know, how did Melissa Jacobs get interested in the sports industry, and how did it start for you?
Well, it's not my foray into sports is definitely not the traditional route of like going to journalism school. And I went to school to college for I thought I was going to be a sports attorney. I was always into sports. I was a huge San Francisco Giants fan, baseball growing up, and 49ers. And I knew I wanted to work in sports, but I definitely thought I was going to be a lawyer and I wanted to represent athletes. And I got an internship while I was in college, and at the biggest radio station in San Francisco, KNBR, and I loved it. I loved everything about media, like sort of the challenges and the workarounds you have to do, and just how fast paced it is, and no day looks the same. Reacting to breaking news like that. I loved it. So I never went to law school, and here I am. Oh. Radio. I was a TV producer, then became a writer, an editor. I guess, I don't know. I guess I'm just trying to live like every life in media or something.
Yeah. Speaking of the San Francisco Giants, there's a player out there that they're trying to get, Aaron Judge.
Aaron Judge, I know. I feel his presence here. I don't know. I'm not following it that much. My kid said he was in the Bay Area the other day, so
yeah,
it was like a little, thunderous here.
Yeah, so that will be interesting to keep an eye on. But for you, what did you learn as you were going into this business, and obviously doing multiple things, and before you came to here? But what did you learn in the different spots that you were at? What were the main things that you learned as a writer and a reporter?
I mean, I think each one built upon itself. So a lot of it, like in the radio world and TV world, I mean, relationship building. Like, what's that line between, I think I used to call it pleasantly aggressive, not being like, talk to me. You haven't responded to me in 2 minutes. I'm calling you back. And, and being very nice and polite and appreciative, but also selling yourself. As a woman, it's a little bit harder, especially when I was starting out and younger. You have to navigate some of those things. So that that was a challenge, but it really helped me. And then also, especially starting out, I was in the locker rooms a lot. I covered a lot of Raiders and Niners, and just understanding how the questions to ask, and what's going to get athletes, what questions are going to get athletes to open up and say something that they're not saying to anyone else. And that's an art form, and it's different obviously for every player. Really understanding. And as I got it, I was a TV producer at ESPN, so that's kind of as high level as it gets. Just there, I would say, and for anyone in a big company, just being like, wow, I have so many resources here. I don't have those resources right now, but I did. And how can I best use them? So whatever story I'm working on or guest I'm working on, I'm on the TV side, but could that person be on ESPN.com? Could we get a clip for ESPN News? Could we use it as a promo for ESPN Radio? So if you have, just thinking more globally. And then as a writer, it's been you know, a lot of it has just been honing my own skills and like making sure that I am reading all kinds of voices every day. It's really important to, you know, not because I'm plagiarizing them, because I'm not, but just to, you know, you just learn some tricks and you know, making sure that I'm writing enough and really just understanding what the audience is and how to craft a story. So that's where I'm at.
Well,
now I need to learn like graphic design or something.
add another dimension to your
Right.
We are live with NFL reporter Melissa Jacobs. We have a fan question for you already. One of our fans wants to know who are some of the women reporters that you looked up to?
Oh man. Andrea Kramer is one. I just remember being like starting out, when I was in San Francisco, I remember covering a Niners game and it might have been actually, I think it was the first game I ever covered. And I was super nervous, but like also trying to be professional. And Andrea was there for like, I don't know, NBC. I think she was maybe like the sideline reporter for NBC Sports at the time or something, maybe HBO. And I didn't know her at all, but there were like, now every locker room, there's like multiple women cover the team. It's awesome. But then there was maybe like one or two others. And I remember she pulled me aside and was like, it's okay, you belong here. And I looked up to her for that moment, but also because she's like such a master interviewer. I don't know anybody who that is better than her at interviewing. Like it's an art form. So probably her the most, but I mean, so many others. Like I look up to Jamel Hill even now, and Carrie Champion, and you know, there's a woman, Jane McManus, I used to work with at ESPN, who's gone on to like direct some college journalism programs. And yeah, I mean, there's like the list really goes on. Beth Mowins, I mean, I don't want to do play-by-play because I would be terrible at it, but I just admire her so much for really breaking in that world. So
Amy Trask, another.
Oh yeah, well, Amy Trask. I used to be scared of Amy Trask. Like when I was starting out and she was at the Raiders still. And you know, she's the princess of darkness. And the Raiders were just kind of like a hard team to cover anyhow. Like they were like secretive and, you know, not really wanting the coverage, the publicity. So she, you know, this is pre-Twitter, so it wasn't like you could just say hi Amy, like get, you know, a Lucy, I love Lucy gift back or whatever she does. But yeah, I was scared of her. I was like, she is such a badass. She is so smart. She is like I'm just a goofy kid. Like I can't talk to her and but now I still think of her as a badass and like all those things, of course, because she is, but like she's so nice.
Yeah, we had her on the show too, and we stay connected, and she's like my mentor because she always loves my stuff. She sees my work, and she loves she loves the show she was on here, and she's amazing, amazing woman.
Yeah, she promoted us.
Yeah,
she's great.
Yeah, so tell our fans, tell our fans some of your best moments so far in the industry, especially in the NFL. Tell some of your like memorable interviews you have done.
Well, it's funny because I kind of just did one this morning. This one wasn't in particular like the most, but it reminded me of one I did where I was literally in tears at the end, which was Kyle Turley, the former Saints and Rams, and I think he ended his career with the Chiefs, offensive lineman who's been very outspoken, who he you know, and he's a big believer in cannabis for injuries. But I remember talking to him, I don't know, I guess 10 years ago when I started really interviewing people on my own, and he was like at a low point in terms of the effects of CTE. So he's talking about like calling suicide lines. He's talking about like he has to like hide from his family and he's so scared and he feels so alone. And it was like, I mean, it was a great interview in the sense that he was so candid and opened up, but it was just so affecting. So he's one. Joe Horn, like this is like right after I started the Football Girl, and I don't even know how I knew Joe Horn, to be quite frank, but I knew he was a good talker, and he totally. I remember he called Roger Goodell the devil.
Oh,
Oh my God, I think this was when all the Ray Rice stuff was going down, and I don't know what Joe Horn had to do with that, but like it was the big topic, right? So I asked him about it, and he was just talking about like what a hypocrite, and saying that all the draft picks like shouldn't go up and shake hands with Goodell, and then he's like he's the devil, and I'm like, what did you just call him? And that was a memorable interview in the sense that it went like super viral from like my then very little website. Another one is Steve Smith, like when he was still playing. I mean, just the best talker ever. Just like doesn't give a shit about what anyone thinks, and yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so we have another fan question for you. They want to know if you weren't in the sports industry, what would you be doing now?
If I weren't, I mean, it's so hard to say because now I have kids, and like that's sort of, let's pretend like I don't have kids. Like I start like, I mean, I would probably still have kids, but maybe be a lawyer. But that sounds really. My husband's a lawyer. It's like, I mean, he's fine. He likes his job, but like, it's not. I don't find. I know a lot of lawyers now. I don't find it to be like that compelling of work. My ideal job, to be honest. Well, two things. I mean, I don't know if this is going to be a job, but I'm actually starting a youth sports newsletter because I'm really mired in that world. Like literally, like next week, it's launching. It's called Changing the Game on Substack. It's on my Twitter at the Football Girl if people want to pre-subscribe. But I'm just very mired in the world of youth sports right now with my kids, and I've just been so shocked. I mean, this is like a multi-billion-dollar industry, and there's like almost nothing out there to sort of help guide parents. It's like all like, here's how to improve your batting stance. Here's, it's all like instructional videos. And I'm not saying that I have the answer, but I really want to do like deeper reporting into, how parents can support their kids, and like, how like the specialization stuff. So that's one thing. So that might actually be sort of a second career. But the other one is I would start I guess somewhat related. I would love to start a foundation sort of based on Michelle Obama's like Let's Move model that really focuses on like having a standard for how much exercise kids should get. But I would take it to restaurants. I would be like, here's our Let's Eat model, and you get like a certification, like if your menus have this amount of nutrients, and like isn't a menu full of like corn dogs and chicken nuggets. So basically, and for schools and all the things too. So I'm a big believer in improving that world.
Yeah, speaking of, congrats on that, by the way, and looking forward to seeing your launch next week, and obviously changing the game, and all the kids should be looking forward to that. And youth sports is really important now in this generation, and we cover a lot of youth sports here in New Jersey too. So I love how the kids stay active and do not play video games. They're outside all the time playing their own sports. And but speaking of the Football Girl, talk about that, and when did that get started, and what's it been like for you to have that other platform to share your journey and other people's journey on the Football Girl?
Yeah, so it started about 10 years ago, and it was actually, the idea was from a friend of mine who's still a producer at ESPN, and she's like, we should start a book like fantasy football for women. And it was interesting when I'm like, oh, if a book, like, I don't know that women play fantasy football differently than men per se. but I know they read NFL coverage because I'm talking about myself and friends I knew. Like, and it's so like genderized to men, especially 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
It'd be like, I think Bill Simmons was still writing regularly and be like, oh, me and my dudes, we like went to Vegas and like we went to the strip club and like then we put on the and you're reading it as a woman and you're like, okay, he has interesting things to say about the Patriots, but I don't want to read about strip clubs and like I just want my football.
Right.
So that's sort of where it was born. I sort of did some like polling to make sure that there was a need for this, and you also never heard about like women in the industry. They were always like just an accessory or just like dudes bringing it up. Oh, like the hotness of like whatever fill in the blank sideline reporter. But you're never talking about like the grind that they had to get there and like what goes into their jobs. And so I sort of did like a dual platform of like just gonna cover the NFL. Like I'm a woman, gonna have contributors. I'm not gonna make it like only for women, because why would I exclude like over half of the NFL audience? But just it's gonna be like my perspective and some of my contributors' perspectives, and we're gonna have a little emphasis on promoting women in the business, and I've done that. So I'm proud of that. I don't know how much more I'm going to do that because I'm really kind of pivoting to this like youth sports thing while still doing, things for the football girl. I'm a NFL columnist at The Guardian. I will be writing the column this Sunday, and then I do some other projects like for this Gridiron magazine and things like that. So
Wow.
staying busy, but I mean, I feel like the NFL, that's the one area since I've been around. I mean, the promotion of women, like, and the explosion of female coaches and GMs and scouting roles and all the trainers, it's just phenomenal. And it's largely because the NFL created a department with led by Sam Rappaport, a former quarterback herself, who has literally created this pipeline. I mean, it's incredible. So I kind of don't feel like there's that much work for me because she's doing it all. So
And also Sarah Thomas, if you want to go on the reffing side, the first female to be a ref, that was amazing in the Super Bowl. She got the opportunity, and what an amazing story she has. So
yeah, she's great. And you know what's so great about her is we don't talk about her, right? She's not like pissing people off. So she's just doing her job. She's very professional and she does it well. And that's like that's what we ask of our refs. And they don't want to be talked about. I know she doesn't want to be talked about. So
yeah. So we have another fan question for you. One of our fans wants to know what sports does your kids play?
Oh God. How long do you have? No. I have an 11-year-old who so he does travel baseball and club soccer and basketball. He wants to play football, but we don't have time, and I'm not going to let him play tackle probably. But yeah, the baseball, it's pretty, now the soccer is pretty hardcore. So we're traveling a lot on weekends. I'm not working, and by that, I mean like an hour away, not and then my other son, I have 2 sons, is 8, and he does baseball and he plays on like a club soccer team too. And he's about to play flag football and he's on basketball. So kind of everything. It's very sports oriented. But we live in kind of a small town, and it's really helped us. We moved from New York like 5 years ago to California. And it really has, I mean, sports and the schools are like the foundation here. And it's really helped us like have a very robust community.
Wow. Yeah. And obviously you guys get nice weather every day there. And
well, it's pouring rain today. You would think it was like puddles outside.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So speaking of women in sports, obviously, you're amazing in that. And we talk about the growth of it, women in sport. And this show here, I've told people who helps me out with the show, and 5 of them are females. So it's really important. I give every opportunity to females to be in the sports industry. And what do you like about the growth now? And obviously NFL does a great job at that, and even other sports like Becky Hammond was being assistant coach in the NBA. And what do you like
Yeah.
about the growth of it?
I mean, I think it's great. I don't think we're nearly done, but on the journalism side, there's just been an explosion of women that are covering teams, that are national analysts. You have Mina Kimes at ESPN, who like actually gets to give analysis and isn't just there to smile. There's still a little too much of that at other places, in my opinion. But the issue still remains that there aren't a lot of women executives that are deciding what the coverage is going to look like. So too often you'll see, I mean, I'll just call out like Fox's pregame show. Like you have Chris Thompson, but she's not giving her opinion. She's just there to be pretty and throw to the experts. And it's, and she's like, why can't she be an expert? Like at some point you're around the league long enough and you know coaches and people and you can study film, and like, it's not the same as playing, but it's, you can get there. I mean, look at Mina Kimes. She didn't play. I mean, players that work with her will be like, she knows more than me, So that's been great. But it could be better. And yeah, on the NFL like team side, I mean, we're seeing lots of opportunities for female coaches. We'll just go in that bucket for a sec, but they're still all like assistant intern roles. So now we're like, okay, this has been going on for a while. The women have proven their worth. Like, when are we going to have a coordinator? Like, to me, that needs to happen. So we're not like normalized yet, but we're getting closer.
Yeah. There's a perfect example of that from the Buccaneers, Lori Lacoste. She the defensive assistant coach, and actually we had the opportunity to meet her in person one time. They had a NFL event here in New Jersey, and she came down, and she's such an amazing person, inspiration, and kudos for the Buccaneers for giving her an opportunity. And I hope she gets promoted soon because she can coach.
Yeah, and I'll let you know too. It was very cool. I was at the NFL Combine the year before she was hired. I think it was Bruce Arians' first year when he took over, and they have this women's forum that the aforementioned Sam Rappaport puts on, and he was speaking at the forum. At the end, like they come off the stage, and I'm there as a reporter, and I remember him being like, I'm glad all these women want to coach. Like, why aren't you emailing me? Like, reach out to me. Like, I need to see some resumes. Like, why aren't people doing that? So then I asked him I was asking him about it. Are you really going to hire these women? Like, you're saying that on a stage with cameras rolling. And he was like, yeah, I actually plan to bring 2 women on my staff for this year, like his first year. And so that actually made a lot of news. Because obviously I was like, oh wait, what did you say? 2, 1, 2, like that's for sure. You're definitely doing that. So I was like, all right, I'm putting it out in the world. And I type it up and get it out there, and lo and behold, Lo Locust, she's one. And then the MJ, their trainer, and they've been there. I think this was like 4 years ago. They've been there ever since. So.
Yeah, so I got to ask you. I know you made an appearance on the Rich Eisen. So what was that like? Talking to Rich Eisen.
Oh, that was fun. So I worked. I mean, when I was at ESPN, I think he was just leaving. Maybe I briefly worked with him. It was funny because when I went on that show, they like asked me all about his wife because she worked there too. They're like, "Oh, give us some good stories." And I'm like, well, I didn't really know them like that. And I think she was gone already, but I sort of played along. But yeah, it was really fun. I mean, he's easy to chat with, so it was cool.
Yeah, so we'll take one more fan question here. They want to know, where do you think Odell Beckham Jr. will sign?
I'm so fatigued from this. Sorry to the person asking the question. I mean, I guess the Cowboys, which I don't, they're doing fine with CeeDee Lamb. Like, I mean, I consider him OBJ like a net benefit to anybody. I mean, I don't think he's going to cause like a lot of problems, but just I don't know. I think the Cowboys, I mean, they've been talking him up so much. So, and he, I see that as a decent fit, I guess.
Yeah, I'm a big Cowboy fan, so let's see if it happens. But he met with the Giants today, and I think today and tomorrow, and then he's gonna meet with the Bills, and then Cowboys Monday. So let's see what happens there. And I'm gonna put you on the spot before we get to the last two things. I'm gonna put you on the spot. Bills or Patriots tonight?
I mean, I guess I'll go with the Bills. There was a little improvement last week in terms of Josh Allen's like effectiveness overall. And I think they might, even though he's not totally healthy, I think the defense is getting a little bit healthier. So I guess I'll go with them. That wasn't too on the spot. I thought you were gonna like ask me my security number or something.
No. All right, I'm gonna put on another. All right, how about this? Let me ask you this: do you think San Francisco 49ers have a legit shot of making a Super Bowl this year?
Yeah, why not? I mean, I don't see any. I mean, it was a phenomenal performance from Jalen Hurts on the national stage last week. Like he's just beyond. I love him so much, and they have a lot of tools. I definitely would say if I were putting money on it, I would pick the Eagles, but who knows? Your Cowboys with their maybe new receiver, but I do think the Niners have the best defense in football. I just don't completely have faith in Garoppolo's decision making and accuracy, but I do. Yeah, I mean, I don't see them as like so below the Eagles that they couldn't be in that mix.
Wow. Yeah, so the last two things here before I let you go, our team is part of this foundation. It's called the Hugh Jackson Foundation. He's a former NFL coach. He's now coaching at Grambling State University, and we're trying to help him prevent human trafficking, making sure the community stays safe and the kids stay safe and everybody stays safe. So we'll send you the foundation so you can go check it out.
Okay, that sounds great. I appreciate that.
And the last thing here, would you like to say anything to all the nurses, doctors, and all the essential workers right now?
Yeah, I mean, just appreciate you so much. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than like we just have so much love and appreciation. I mean, you are all like the reason that so many of us are still standing here. And I mean, they'll just be like for the last I always appreciated those industries, and I know the work they do is like infinitely more important than anything I do or my lawyer husband does. But yeah, I mean, I think it just was embedded deeper, just like teachers, right? Like new level of appreciation after COVID. So thank you.
Yeah. So there you have it. So Melissa, I'm gonna let you close it out. Where can our fans find you on social media to follow you, and what do you got coming up next?
Yeah, so Twitter at the football girl is probably the best, but I would love for you all to check out my newsletter coming up, Changing the Game. I mean, it's definitely youth sports oriented, but you'll get a little of my flair, like talking about random things. You can always, I guess, unsubscribe if you don't like it, but I'll come and find you. And yeah, I think that I'm writing for the Guardian. My column will be there first thing Monday morning. If you want to see my reaction, I'm guessing we'll be talking about Deshaun Watson's return, which is always a fun topic to write about. But yeah, those are the main places now.
Yeah, so there you have it. Talented NFL reporter Melissa Jacobs. Go follow her. She's really such an inspiration, and man, keep up the great work. And it was an honor having you on the show today, and looking forward to hopefully having you back pretty soon so you can meet the full team. But keep it up and have a great day, and we'll stay connected.
All right. Thanks so much for having me.
Anytime. Thank you.
Bye.